Famer. Always so good to have you here. And guys, we are entering day 5 of NBA free agency. While we're still waiting on Kawhi Leonard to officially decide his future, we now have his teammate, Reggie Jackson, returning officially to the Clippers. It's a 2-year, $22 million deal. Jackson scored nearly 18 a game during LA's first ever run to the conference finals while he was playing on that minimum deal. And he's just one of many moves this week, many of which surrounded point guards. From Kyle Lowry to Miami, Lonzo to the Bulls, Kemba to the Knicks. Even CP3 got $120 million to stay in Phoenix. In fact, just this week, players agreed to approximately $2.8 billion in new deals. $2.8 billion. Matt, as you look at everything that's happened thus far, who is your biggest winner in free agency? Besides whoever's on the end of that check.
Right, the players who got the money first and foremost, but it's still really early. We're 5 days in, but, off the rip, I think the Lakers, Bulls, and Heat all did a great job. All addressed issues. We talked last week, and I want to say the Lakers only had 3 guys under contract, and now they have a full team. And if this was 10 years ago, we'd be arguing this is the greatest team ever assembled. Yes. So I love what the Lakers have done. I love what Miami's done addressing their needs and being able to sign Victor Oladipo. And then I like what Chicago did. So those are my winners.
So, Matt, I'm going to focus on the Miami Heat as the winner for me. The sweepstakes, if you want to call them that in free agency, it all revolved around Kyle Lowry. They not only landed Kyle Lowry, they poached P.J. Tucker. And I'm always happy if it's my team, if I have a Morris on it. In this case, they got a Markieff. And I just think when you look at this roster, there's a lot of toughness, a lot of veteran presence. And you mentioned Oladipo, and I'm with you on this. If I were the Heat and I'm looking at Victor Oladipo, I'm thinking, I'd like to have him back, but I don't want to spend a lot of money on him. And guess what? They didn't have to.
They didn't have to. Yep. Absolutely. I mean, he is still working his way back from yet another injury. I like your Morris point, Jackie. I'm wondering sometimes if there's like a third secret Morris triplet out there so that more teams could have a little Morris in their life. We haven't identified.
There's some Barnes twins on the way as well.
Yes, there are, and they're shooters too. Yes. All right, let's flip to the other side. Jackie, which team's offseason concerned you the most?
I didn't really love, Rachel, what the New Orleans Pelicans did, and I think that's in part because I'm a big Lonzo Ball fan, and I really feel that all that Lonzo needed was a chance to be in one place and to start building the team that included him. He's not a guy that needs the ball a lot. They moved on from Lonzo Ball, and I understand what they were trying to do. They were swinging for the fences. They were trying to get Chris Paul. They were trying to get Kyle Lowry. They got neither. They ended up giving up 2 first-round picks in all their transactions. They come back with Devontae Graham. I like Devontae Graham, but you lose Lonzo Ball. Have you surrounded young Zion Williamson with a team that is immeasurably better by these moves? I think not, and it still cost you 2 first-round draft picks.
I would agree, Jack. Yeah, I really feel like they didn't do anything thus far. Again, it's still, 5 days early, and I think sometimes these middle market or small market teams have to be more realistic on swinging for the fences. You know what I mean? Like, you have to let someone like Lonzo go. You have to know you have to have something coming back, and they didn't. Agreed. I like Devontae Graham, young player, continuing to get better, but to lose Lonzo Ball, that's a tough pill to swallow. But at the same time, it's hard for me to say what team has really lost because there's guys still like Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, and Bradley Beal who can possibly still be moving. I think Ben Simmons is probably the most likely of those 3 to move. But, who's to say with this wild NBA, summertime, who's really going to move? So I still think there's chances for teams to improve, but I would agree that Pelicans haven't done much this offseason.
This is the NBA. You could wake up any morning and something crazy could have happened. So that absolutely is a possibility.
That's the truth.
Jackie, I'm in your camp. I thought Lonzo Ball's fit with the Pelicans and with Zion in particular was actually really nice. I thought they had some nice alley-oop chemistry, just some nice chemistry overall, and their games fit each other. So I was frankly confused when they didn't extend him last summer and then seemed to be shopping him through much of this season. And Jackie, you've seen a lot of different free agencies over the years. I'm kind of curious for your perspective. The league has certainly been more serious in recent years on cracking down on tampering. Do you think that is why we saw teams like New Orleans kind of clear this space without even knowing if they really had a hope at Kyle Lowry or Chris Paul? Because it doesn't feel like they really had a real shot at either of them.
I'd like to be optimistic and say there was no tampering. Sorry, Adam. Sorry, everybody in the NBA. But boy, these deals were announced pretty quickly. You can't stop people from talking in the back channels in advance of these moments, whether it's players, agents and players, whatever you want to say. I'm sure everybody tries to follow the rules, but I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I still don't believe they do.
I'm not the hugest fan of tampering rules either, as we have discussed plenty of times on the show, so kind of think that stuff's inevitable. I do want to get to some of the rookie max extensions. So these are no longer rookies, but these are guys who are on their rookie deals. They are soon to be fourth-year players, and they have already signed Trae Young, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, both agreeing to 5-year deals worth at least $172 million and up to $207 million if they make All-NBA this season. Luka also likely will receive his new deal after the Olympics, according to reports. Mark Cuban is just going to say, here is all the money. You can have all of it. It is worth noting that if you just want to do some comparisons, if you look back at the 2017 class, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, they each signed 5-year max with player options in the last year of their deals. So that's sort of the most sweetheart deal a franchise can offer. Bam Adebayo, De'Aaron Fox, they did the full 5 years, no player option. Trae and Shai, obviously the same. Trae also has an early termination option in his new deal, while Shai is the full 5. Now, Matt, besides Luka, do you see any other member of that 2018 draft class getting the max deal, whether it comes with that player option or not?
I think DeAndre Ayton has proved his worth, and he owes a lot of that to Chris Paul and Coach Williams that kind of found him a great spot. And again, Chris has had a great track record of making bigs do what they do, reaching their full potential. So I was really impressed, especially starting in the playoffs with that first matchup against AD. Although he was a little hampered, AD came with. Ayton came with it. And then one more person who could possibly get the max, but if not, he's going to get a lot of money, is Michael Porter Jr. I still think he's been a little up and down, but he showed flashes of his upside that really has a lot of people in Denver excited. So those are the two guys for me.
I think, Matt, you're right on it. If there are two guys that may get it, but I would argue that I don't think either one of them will get to that point. If a team with more...
So a lot of your fit has to do with the pace that the team plays with offensively. And when he first got to the Warriors, when you have Steph Curry in the half court, you're gonna have a breakneck speed. It's gonna be like Manhattan at 12 in the afternoon on a Saturday. It's just like everything's happening, passing, cutting, moving. And so now when he goes to the Hornets, it's gonna be more traditional. They play windshield wiper fast because LaMelo Ball continues to make sure the basketball has energy. And so now his offense is gonna settle in, his percentages are gonna go up, he's gonna be a defender and a scorer and a finisher for the Hornets. And again, I'm liking what I'm seeing overall from the Eastern Conference. Every move for each team is not designed to necessarily win Game 7 of the NBA Finals next year. But I'll tell you what, you add Melo to go with Kelly Oubre and the young players that they're continuing to build. You saw how Miles Bridges took a leap and PJ Washington got a lot better. So I like what they're doing with the Hornets.
I do like what they're doing with the Hornets. And when you talk about Russell Westbrook added to the Lakers, like that is a big deal. This is just kind of a little deal, but it's going to really solidify them as a playoff contender in the Eastern Conference. And I just like what this franchise is doing under their newer head coach. They've got, as you mentioned, LaMelo Ball, my favorite rookie in the league last year. They've got Scary Terry. Hayward comes back. He could be healthy. Washington, Biyombo. And now you add Oubre. I do like what they're doing. They drafted Bouknight. This is a good news. If I'm in Charlotte and I'm a Hornets fan, this is the best I've felt about my franchise in a long time. Jalen, tonight, the gold medal game between Team USA and France. Team USA lost to France early on during this tournament. How in jeopardy do you think they are of losing again in the gold medal game?
I think they're in jeopardy, but I want to see us get a gold medal. But again, can somebody guard Evan Fournier? I know a team that has all of the great players that we have, that may seem like a laugher to somebody like you who felt like, man, he joined my Knicks for almost $80 million, but he crushed us in the previous game they beat us. So we got to find a way to slow him down.
I got you. Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday, Evan Fournier, you stay next to him the entire time. That's one side of the basket. Other side of the basket, just give the ball to Kevin Durant. I know there's so many talented players, Booker and Lillard. Just give the ball to Kevin Durant. They have no answer for him. No one has had an answer for him. Everybody put your egos aside and say, KD, bring us the gold. Because his gold medal is going to look just like your gold medal if you are one of those other scorers on Team USA.
Clear it out.
Let it rain, clear it out. Let it rain, clear it out. As we get to the end of free agency, it's time for you.